Hi, seventh graders. This is your video for today, which is using story problems, tables, and graphs to find out if the relationship is proportional. Okay? Now, if you remember, there's 3 rules. The first rule is it has to pass through the origin. It must be linear, which is a straight line. And if it's linear, it needs a constant. And we learned yesterday that your constant is y over x, and that has the letter k that goes with it. So we are going to use that information all day long today for these problems. So if you notice, the first problem says, I want you to do all of these choices, A, B, C, D, and your goal is to tell me which pencil has the lowest cost, or what is the best buy. So you're going to notice first, we always put in store A. It has 110 pencils for 88, or $110 for 88 pencils. So that would be a unit rate. And that means money per pencil is what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for $110 over 88 pencils. My answer is $1.25, $1.25 for one pencil. So there is the cost of store A. It's a unit rate. If you remember from yesterday, a unit rate is the same thing as a constant. So my constant would be $1.25. Now, store B is an equation. Here is your equation. They already put it in the right form with the right letters. C is the total cost for the pencil, and P is the number of pencils. So remember yesterday, y equals kx. For this math problem, C is the money, 110 or $1.10, sorry, is the cost for a pencil, and P is the number of pencils. Now this is the easiest one you're going to get because you're going to pull the K or the constant out. K equals constant. And the answer for this one is $1.10 for one pencil. So right now, store B is the cheapest until we get down here to store C and D. Now we got to keep in mind $1.25, $1.10. This is the cheapest deal. Now you learned yesterday when we were working with tables that when I work with a table, I have to write it in the ratio form y over x. These are your x's, these are your y's. It's a vertical table. So I have to write 3 different ratios, y over x. My first one is $50 for 25 pencils, $64 for 32 pencils, $112 for 56 pencils. Now, when I do each of these math problems, I'm finding the constant. That's how you get a constant. 50 pencils, or $50 for 25 pencils is $2 a pencil. 64 for 32, again, $2 per pencil. And the last one, 112 over 56, is $2 per pencil. Now that means for store C, the constant is $2. That means $2 for one pencil. This so far is the most expensive one. Now, last but not least, we have our graph. And when you do graph, you are still doing y over x, which you guys learned is rise over run. How tall we go over to how far we run side to side. Now I'm going to show you quickly the 2 intersections. So this graph right now that has pencils, the cost of pencils, and the number of pencils are listed. You are going to notice that that means y is cost, x is pencils. It's in the exact order we need. Now, the first dot right here is not living on an intersection. It's floating in the middle of these lines. This dot, however, is good to go. Dot number 3, floater. Dot number 4, good to go. So I'm going to make my first triangle. I want to know my rise and my run. Now, according to this, I went up 3. Y is 3. I ran over to 2. Okay? Now I can do it again. Rise, run. I would still go 1, 2, 3 units. I would still go over 1, 2 units. That still works, 3 over 2. And if I was late for practice and I had to do it all at once and I chose to skip a step, if I filled in the pink one, it's rise 6, run 4. Well, 6 over 4 is the same thing as 3 over 2. Now, if I divide that, I need to find the unit rate or the constant. So when I divide 3 divided by 2, I find out that this store is $1.50 for 1 pencil. Now remember, your Chromebook is going to say 1.5, but it's money, you have to put in the extra number. So now at the bottom, your job is to tell me, how did you know which store would sell the cheapest? So I need you to compare all of your constants and identify if it's store D, $1.50, store C, $2, store B in the equation, $1.10, or store A, $1.25, the unit rate for the pencil. Okay? Then when you're done, your job is to do this side, and you are going to do the same thing. We have a story problem. I have a unit rate. We have a graph, and we have a table. Okay? X and Y, X and Y, miles per gallon is the way we should write it, miles per gallon, and here's your equation from the story problem. Your job is to do that one on your own. Now, part 2, you get to make up your own story problem. So you get to make up a story problem. How do you find the cop? You put it here, the constant. You are going to show me on this graph how you do it. You're going to show me this graph how you're going to do it. You're going to write the equation, and then you're going to make up your own 3 things that match the graph. So you're going to make an entire note paper up on your own. Okay? Thank you, guys. Ask for questions if you need help.